because there's days you're not going to feel like you're in love with your spouse. There's days where your spouse may not feel like they're in love with you. So what stands in the gap? What stands in the middle on those days that are going to keep the two together?
The question, in essence, is making us define what's important, which means that we have to define what love. You get it?
Kind of. If it's generally speaking, I feel like it's a general response. Of course, love is important in marriage, but you can love a lot of things. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's important to define for what purpose is the love intended in marriage.
Okay. All right. I'll drill into it a little bit deeper. So, when I'm saying the love in marriage, I'm talking about the love as far as well, since there's different type of love, there's eros, the romantic love, there's philia, affectionate love. So what I believe is more important is pragma, which is enduring love.
Hmm.
So the love that I would focus more on the love that you need in order to endure the relationship. Because to me, endurance is the most important thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would agree. I think it also depends on, at least for me, like I wouldn't be authentic if I didn't look at it from the Christian perspective, because I am a Christian and I believe in Christian marriage. And so,
Ooh.
and then plus having been married, understanding that that's really what it's about, because there's days you're not going to feel like you're in love with your spouse. There's days where your spouse may not feel like they're in love with you. So what stands in the gap? What stands in the middle on those days that are going to keep the two together? And that is that enduring love, or from the Christian perspective, it's the love of God. In the Christian, from a Christian perspective, there's a conversation about wedding or a marriage being like a rope with three cords. So there's the two spouses and God. And so the three of them come together as one. And God is kind of like the glue that holds the two of them together. So it's like, I may not like you today, but because I'm Christian and I know that it's my responsibility um, to serve or to love without um, the need or expectation of, well, how can I say that? I wanted to use the word reciprocation, but there's a whole nother context that comes to that. But it's, I'm going to love you because I was loved first by God. That's from a Christian perspective, that's where that endurance comes from. Your fuel, your source doesn't come from your spouse. It comes from something that's bigger than you. So that's why I was asking earlier, like, how are we defining the context of how this love is used? Because, you know, you could be in a marriage with someone who's more in love with themselves than they're in love with you, or more in love with the pursuit of money than they are with their spouse. So um, it's really critical to understand what the vision is for the marriage and how love, what role does that play in the vision for the marriage? That's my 2 cents.
Okay. You said the vision of a marriage.
Yeah.
Um, in a vision of a marriage,
Hmm.
what is the the most important thing? So it's more of a drill down in what you just said. What is the
Yeah.
most important thing? So, like you said, um, that one day you might come in and you might not like the person,
Right.
right? What happens on that day? So this is two
Yeah.
parts. What happens on that day that you don't like them? How do you get through that day?
Mm. I mean, again, I can only speak from my own experiences from when I was married, but that's why vision and communication are so critical, because you don't want to wait till the day that you don't like someone to talk about how to deal with it when it happens, right? Like, you want to have that insurance plan in place before the accident. And so if I were to find myself in a relationship or married again, I would, as it relates to the vision, that's something that he and I would have a plan for. Like, yo, when I'm feeling cranky and I let you know, like, I'm cranky today, that means that I need space. I am a classic introvert. I recharge by solitude. I'm not someone that recharges by being around people. So if I'm saying like I need space today, it doesn't mean that I'm mad at you. It doesn't mean that um, I'm resentful towards you. It just means I need to recharge. And my spouse, God willing, I've chosen properly, will understand and have the emotional maturity and emotional intelligence to understand, hey, thank you for
Oh,
letting me know. I you're, setting boundaries helps people feel safe. So um as it relates to vision, that would be a component of the vision. Obviously there's more to it than that. But as it relates to your question about what happens on that day, it's so unique and individual to each person. So it really depends on what they do. That's what I would do. I'm just saying that's what I would do, is
oh, I
have
get
that
it.
vision.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you pushback though, and what
Why?
I'm gonna give you pushback on is I personally believe that there is no space. There
Ooh.
is no wall between me and my
Ooh.
spouse. No,
Uh-huh.
I refuse to believe. No, I there's no wall between us. If you need space, you sit your behind over there on that couch over there, the love seat in the bedroom. I'll be over here in the bed. I'll go to sleep, or I'm on my computer and you over there, and you
Yeah.
recharge, plug into the wall,
Yeah.
knowing the cord is 10 feet away from me. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, and if that works for your partner, that's fine. That works for, like, that was me. Like, I lived in a townhouse. He would be upstairs, I would be downstairs. I would craft, I would watch, my girly shows. Like, I just need to be unbothered. Doesn't mean that I have to be out of the house. It doesn't mean that um I have to find refuge somewhere else. It just means I need non-irritation right now. And I think too, for the person that's requesting that space, there also has to be a boundary in saying, this is how long it's going to last. Like, letting your partner know, like, hey, give me like an hour or two and then we can regroup after. It's it's having the safety of communicating, but then also respecting that boundary for both partners. Because when I was married, like, my husband would, that was something we had to figure out, because he would say, like, I don't know when it's appropriate to come approach you. And I feel like if I come too soon, I get my head bitten off. And if I don't come early enough, you feel like I'm ignoring you. I don't know when is the right time to approach. And so that's when we came up with that time system. And I would come home from work. And if I had a particularly rough day, I'd be like, yeah, give me, like, it's 5 o'clock, give me till 7. Like, let's talk after dinner. And it worked, for the time being. So again, it's something that you have to be able to work out with your partner, and have that conversation and see what kind of compromises you can come to.